Hey everybody, it's Joshua for Feature Filmmaker 40 Reviews, where I talk movies, TV, music, giving you guys another audio movie review. With the release of the upcoming, soon-to-be released, this coming up week, Space Jam sequel, Space Jam: A New Legacy, I felt it was only natural to finally give my thoughts on Space Jam, the original film. Both Space Jam and the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie, which you'll probably see that one after my review of New Legacy, just depending on how things work out this coming up week. But for right now, we're going to review the original Space Jam, which came out in 1996, directed by Joe Pytka, stars Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. Swackhammer, played by Danny DeVito, is an evil alien theme park owner who needs a new attraction at Moron Mountain. When his gang, the Nerdlucks, heads to Earth to kidnap Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes, Bugs challenges them to a basketball game to determine their fate. The aliens agree, but they steal the powers of NBA basketball players, including Larry Bird and Charles Barkley. So Bugs Bunny gets some help from superstar Michael Jordan in order to win. Space Jam, this was a movie that I remember seeing back in elementary school. It was probably second or third grade. We all sat out in the hallway to watch this on VHS, on TV, back in elementary school. And I remember seeing this, and I remember having fun with this. And then every time it came on TV, I would always end up watching this. So, watching this now as an adult, I was. A lot of people hold this movie very close to their heart because of nostalgia. I don't have a necessarily nostalgic thing going on with it, but I will always rewatch this any chance I get. So, going into this, rewatching it as a adult, yes, I'm gonna say I still enjoy this as much as I do as a kid. But however, this is not a great movie. However, it's not a great movie, but I do think this is a fun movie. And we're gonna start off with the positives here. First off, in the positives, let's just say right now that a lot of the jokes in this movie are funny for the most part. I did love a lot of the humor, especially with the Looney Tunes. It's great seeing the Looney Tunes in a live action film, and I do like the Looney Tunes in this movie. Daffy Duck, Lola Bunny. I love a lot of these guys, and I grew up with the Looney Tunes. So seeing them in a movie like this, I think it's pretty fun. I do love seeing these guys, and they do a great job for what they are do. I like the voice acting work. I think they look really good in hand drawn animation. Also, it's just something about seeing live action and CGI blend together, just like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And I do very much like that here. And Bugs Bunny is a lot of fun to watch. Also, Danny DeVito as the villain, I do enjoy him. He isn't uh, isn't a complete joke. I do enjoy the way he plays this, and you can't really take it too seriously. But I do think he does a good job in the part. Also, these NBA all-star names, Michael Jordan and of course, people like Larry Bird and Charles Barkley, they're not great actors, but they don't need to be. I thought they do decent in the acting department for a movie like this. I think the acting does really good. Direction, cinematography wise, and tonal wise, this movie it gets the job done. You know exactly what kind of movie you're going in for, especially in terms of the comedy and the animation and the tone, cinematography. And Joe Picker does a good job with that in a live aspect. So I very much enjoyed how the direction of this movie is structured. And there's a lot. The basketball sequences with the Looney Tunes and without the Looney Tunes, I think are a lot of fun to watch as well. It gets you in the mood. You have fun. You enjoy it, and it's just a lot of fun. Also, it was cool seeing Wayne Knight in here and just that alone is what easily makes this movie what it is. Because let's face it, as I said, this is not a great movie. Just the interaction between NBA players and Michael Jordan is a lot of fun to see. But also, we do have to talk about the score and the soundtrack. James Newton Howard does the score, and it's a very whimsical and fun and entertaining score. And a lot. It is a very fun score that you really enjoy. And also, in terms of the soundtrack, of course, this is why everyone keeps going back to this movie, including the Space Jam theme song. And yes, while we don't really talk about the controversy surrounding this musician, I do think R. Kelly, he is a good musician. It's just too bad he did what he did. But I do like the songs that I Believe I Can Fly, and a lot of the songs in this movie are very catchy and very fun to listen to. And the Space Jam theme song, it gets you in the mood in the title sequence because it tells you what kind of movie it is. And anybody who saw it in 1996, hey, I don't blame them for getting excited about a Looney Tunes movie. And another one of my last positives, I gotta say that the other cast members like Teresa Randall and Manor Washington, all the rest of the actors here, they all do a great job in their performances, and I think they do good for what is required of them. So there's a lot of fun to be had with Space Jam in terms of my pros. Sadly, the movie doesn't go without its issues, though. Obviously, the big issue here is that most of the humor at times isn't as funny as I thought it was back as a kid. It's not like it's awful humor like fat jokes or fart jokes. Just, there is some humor that I feel like is a little off in some parts. But, even with the humor that I thought was a little off, it still get me to laugh enough to where it's not irritating or insulting. Also, some of the CGI does not very much hold up. I know this is from 1996. This was just as some of the CGI animation was getting started, but at the same time, we had movies like Jurassic Park and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, so there's not really much of an excuse. So, what's this movie's excuse? Yes, for the small budget they had, I think they did good for what they had, but there are some points where some of it looks a little outdated. And considering the fact that this movie is 20 some odd plus years, it does feel that way. Also, there are far too many writers in this movie. I'm sorry. You only need one writer. There are four credited writers here, and so some of the humor lands and some of it doesn't land. Some of the writing sticks to landing in the movie, and some of it isn't that well done. But it, I don't know. It just feels like you only need one writer, which is another thing I'm really nervous about going into the second movie, Space Jam: New Legacy, since we have six writers going on. But as long as it's funny enough, it'll get the job done. But I just feel like with one writer, you easily could have most of the jokes land. And the elephant in the room, of course, the whole sexualization with Lola Bunny is a little over the top. But you know what? It's the 90s, so I can kind of cut some slack. But at the same time, I do feel like it was only done just for kids who like Lola Bunny or just to change the character. But it still wasn't particularly awful. It's just a change that I feel like was just changed for a reason. Overall, Space Jam 1996 it still holds up. It's a fun, entertaining movie from the 90s. It's entertaining. It's good to see the Looney Tunes in here in their first big live action animated film. It's still a lot of fun. It still has some nostalgia, and it's really just nostalgia factor in the soundtrack and the characters that does keep this movie afloat. Because, like as I said at the beginning of the video, this is not a great movie, but this is a fun kids movie that kids can enjoy, even adults can watch. If if you think about this movie too much as an Oscar contender, you won't like it. But if you think of this as a Looney Tunes movie that's fun and entertaining, this is a very enjoyable film, man. You know, I still very much have fun with it, even with the issues I just mentioned. So, with that being said, this is one of my favorite childhood films. Even though you don't have to be overly nostalgic about it, but this is a fun movie. It does suffer from some issues, but what animated film doesn't? And I do think Who Framed Roger Rabbit is better than this, but I don't think this is one of the worst things ever, or worst things that's happened to the Looney Tunes. It's an entertaining movie that your kids can watch. And with that being said, I'm gonna give my honest rating in Space Jam 1996. I'm gonna give it my highly recommendation because I do think this is a fun movie for kids. If you do have it, check it out on HBO Max or DVD, Blu-ray, or VHS, whichever one you want to do. That was my review of Space Jam. In the comment section down below, what did you guys think of Space Jam? In the comment section down below, do you like it, do you hate it, or are you somewhere in the middle? All my social media links in the description box down below. Be sure to like this video, comment down below what you think, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified when more videos up like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all take care.